This is a 30-minute Vinyasa Flow that you can practice any time of the day. So I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start off in Child's Pose. So come into Child's Pose, just make sure your big toes are touching. You can have your hands in front, you could have your hands underneath your forehead. And we're going to stay here for just a few breaths. This is always a nice place to start off the class, just to help calm the mind. You could always move your head side to side, just give your forehead a little massage. Okay, and from here, if you don't have your hands in front of you, bring them in front of you. So we're going to walk our hands to the right side until we feel a really nice stretch on all of our left side body. Keep your head between your hands. And if you want to make the stretch a bit more, bring your left palm on top of your right palm and just try to keep your head between your arms. 3 breaths here for 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, hands to the center, and the same on the other side. Walk your hands to the left, and again, if you want to increase the stretch, bring your right palm on top of your left. Head comes down. On every inhale, feel that stretch on the right side body for 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, come to the center. Take a breath here. And inhale, come into tabletop position. So from tabletop position, we want our shoulders over our wrists, our hips over our knees. So on an inhale, we're going to open up, belly comes down, and exhale, we want to curl. Again, inhale, open up, and exhale. One more time like this. Inhale, open up, and exhale, curl. On an inhale, we're going to look forward. Okay, bring your left hand in front of you. Bring the right hand underneath. We're going to bring the right ear to the floor. You could stay here, or you could change the stretch slightly by bringing the left hand up or by bending the elbow. 3 breaths here for 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, come to the center. Same on the other side. So right hand goes forward, left hand goes underneath, left ear comes to the floor, and again play with whichever variation is correct for you. 3 breaths here for 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, come to the center. And from here, one more round of cat-cow. So inhale, open up, belly comes down. Exhale, head goes in. We're going to come into our toes and come into downward facing dog. Now, if you're practicing early in the morning, you won't want to bend your knees. Otherwise, if you're feeling quite open, keep your legs straight. You could always pedal out the feet. Just make sure your feet are hip distance apart. You can either look between your ankles, you can look between your knees, or you could try to find your belly button, but try to keep your shoulders away from the ears. Okay, and from here we're going to walk our hands towards our feet. You could slightly bend the knees here, hold onto your elbows, and bring the head down. And from here we can move from side to side. Just do whatever movement feels right for you. Just from side to side. If you want to increase the stretch, you could always bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers, and bring your hands over your head. And this might make the stretch feel just that much slightly more intense. Always, if you want, keep your knees bent, or of course you can straighten the legs. You could add a bit of movement again if you want. Okay, and from here we're going to bring the hands onto the mat, walk our hands forward, come into downward facing dog again. And from downward facing dog, we're going to look forward, right foot steps, stay on the toes of the left foot, come up, hands on your waist. Inhale, hands come up, 5 breaths here. For 1, belly engaged, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands come down. And go back into downward facing dog. Same on the other side. Inhale, left foot steps. Stay on the toes of the right foot. Come up, belly engaged. Hands come up, shoulders down. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands come down. Come into downward facing dog. Okay, and from downward facing dog, we're going to look forward, come into plank pose. Okay, 5 breaths here. For 1, push the floor away. 2, if you want, bend the knees. 3, 4, and 5. And from here, we're going to come into side plank. So bring the right hand to the center, twist to the left. Left hand comes up. 5 breaths here. For 1, bring the hips up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands come down. Same on the other side. Twist to the right. Right hand comes up. Bring the hips up. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, hands come down. Come into our plank pose. And from plank pose, lower the knees and come down. And from here, bring your elbows down. So your elbows can be underneath your shoulders or slightly forward. You could look forward, bring the head down, whatever's right for you. It's a lovely pose, especially if you've been sitting all day. So 5 breaths here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands come by our sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. Push the floor away, shoulders come back. And exhale, downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to look forward, right foot steps. Stay on the toes of the left foot. Inhale, come up. Hands come up. Exhale here. And from here, we're going to come into warrior 2. So step onto the left foot. Hands shoulder height. Look at your right fingertips. Inhale. Left hand goes onto the left leg. Inhale. Right hand comes up. For 1. Remember to bend the front knee. 2. And 3. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, right hand onto the right leg. Inhale, left hand comes over. 3 breaths here. For 1. If you want to make it more intense, bring your right hand down. 2. And 3. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, hands come down. Come into plank. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same on the other side. Inhale, look forward. Left foot steps. Stay on the toes of the right foot. Come up. And from here, we're going to find warrior 2. Step the right foot. Hands shoulder height. For 1. 2. And 3. Right hand, right leg. Left hand overhead. 3 breaths here. For 1. 2. And 3. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, left hand comes down, right hand overhead. And again, if you want to make it more intense, bring that left hand down. 2. And 3. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, hands come down. Come into plank pose. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from here, look forward. Right foot steps parallel, feet are parallel. And from here, what we're going to do is fold forward. We're going to walk the hands in front. And as we're walking the hands in front, we're going to send our hips back. Bring the head in. So we're in a downward facing dog with just our feet are really wide apart. Feel that nice lengthening in the spine. 5 breaths here. For 1, 2, 3, legs are engaged. 4 and 5. Walk the hands back. And now fingers point back. And we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to walk the hands back. Bring the head towards the floor. 5 breaths here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend at the knees. Inhale, come up. Come into plank pose. Come into our plank pose. And exhale, come down. Okay, and from here, hands come forward. Okay, we're gonna slide the hands in. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. Otherwise, hands come up. And if you want, you could always bring your feet up. 5 breaths here. For 1, belly engaged. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands come down. Rest your head down. Gently close your eyes. Okay, inhale. Hands come front, feet up. If you want, you can stay here, or you can clasp your hands behind you and lift up. For 1, belly engaged. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands come down and rest your head on the other side now. A few breaths here. Okay, and from here, hands come down. We're going to come into child's pose. Just to rest the lower back. Again, you can move your forehead side to side. Inhale, we're going to sit in front. And we're going to lie back and come into a nice easy bridge pose, or work towards that. So make sure your feet are hip distance apart. You can touch your heels with your fingers. And what we're going to do now is inhale, push the floor away, bring the hips up. Exhale, hips come down. We're going to do this 4 more times. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, down. Inhale, exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Now you can either rest here, or we're going to come up for 5 breaths. So inhale, and you could always clasp the hands underneath. And if you want to make this more intense, bring the shoulders closer together and push the floor away. 5 breaths here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, come down, knees to your chest. You can roll from side to side just to Release any tension in your lower back. And from here, inhale, take a seat. We're going to have a nice little squat here. So this is a lovely pose to rest the lower back. Hands in front of heart center. You can push the knees away. Stay here for a few breaths. You could always add a little bit of movement if you want, just if you want to like experience this pose. Otherwise, just stay in a fixed position. From here, we can add some variations. So one variation is right hand comes down in front of the right foot, left hand comes up. For 1, 3 breaths here. 2 and 3. Exhale, hand comes down, the left hand comes down. Inhale, right hand comes up. For 1, 2 and 3. Hands come to heart center. Again, if you want, you can stay here or make it a bit more intense. So we're going to add a bit of a binding twist. So right hand comes forward and we could try to bring the right hand behind us. Left hand comes behind us and we see if we can clasp onto the right fingers. For 1, 2 and 3. Okay, same on the other side. Left hand comes around. Right hand comes back. Again, see if you can hold on to your right hand. For 1, twist to the right, 2 and 3. Okay, and from here, hands come down. Bend the knees, bring the head down. Hold on to your elbows. You can keep the knees bent or straighten the legs. Add a few movements if that feels nice for you. So we're really stretching out that lower back. Oh, you could always move your head from side to side, like as if we were saying yes, as if we were saying no. Just make sure there's no tension in the neck. Okay, and from here, sit down. Okay, we're going to come into shoulder stand. So there's a few variations we could do here. If you've got a ponytail, you might consider lowering it so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so we're going to lie down. We could either bring our feet up, hands underneath our hips, and just stay here. This is a lovely, nice inversion, which is great if you've been standing all day. Or if you want to go for the full shoulder stand, we're going to try to inhale, bring the feet up, hands behind our back. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you feel like it, bring your feet over your head. You can clasp the hands behind you. 5 breaths here. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, if you want, bend the knees. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Take a nice seat. All right, come into downward facing dog. You could pedal out the feet if you want. Just be aware if suddenly your downward facing dog is feeling, that much nicer, that much more open. Makes sense after everything we've done so far. Okay, now let's move into one of my favorite poses, Pigeon Pose. So inhale, look forward, Right foot comes forward. And we're going to gently lower down. Of course, you could always stay up if that feels right for you. You could always come onto your elbows or come all the way down. So we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Feel that opening on your right hip. Now that we've been here for some time, if you want to make this more intense, you could always try to bring that right foot slightly forward or bring the left foot slightly back. Both are going to help open up just a bit more. You could always come down again, a few more breaths here. Okay, and from here, inhale, come up. Take a moment here. I like to stay here just for a few breaths after Pigeon Pose. Try to bring your shoulders down. If this is too much, just come into Downward Facing Dog or Child's Pose. If you can, just stay here. If it's too much on your knee and your back knee, bring your toes of your left foot onto the mat. A few breaths here. Pay attention to where you feel that extra tension. And just see if you could move your breath there. And that might help to ease off that tension, even just a little bit. One more inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands come down. Inhale, come into Downward Facing Dog. And you have an option here if you want. Bring your right foot up, bend the knee, send the knee up to the ceiling. Feel a bit more of a stretch in front of that right hip. Inhale, straighten the leg. Bring it down. Pigeon Pose on the other side. So inhale, look forward. Left foot comes forward. And again, we're going to come into our Pigeon Pose. Whatever variation is correct for you. So a few breaths here just to give the body time to open up. Help that connective tissue slowly, slowly open up. Okay, again, now that we've been here for a few breaths, if you want, you could always bring your left foot slightly more forward or bring the right foot slightly back. And again, if it feels right for you, come forward. So you'll feel more of a stretch in the left hip. Just make sure it feels right for you. Okay, and on an inhale, we're going to come up. Again, if this feels okay, stay here. You could always come into your toes of your right foot. Again, become aware of where you're feeling this tension. And with every breath, see if you could try to loosen it off a little bit. Sometimes it takes some time to be able to do this. Just become aware of how you're feeling and all the sensations that you're feeling. Okay, hands come down. Again, we're going to come into Downward Facing Dog. And again, you've got the option, if you want, to bring the left foot over, knee up to the ceiling, twist a little bit here, bring the knee up. Feel that stretch in front of the left hip. Okay, left foot comes down. Okay, we're going to take a nice little seat here. Gently start closing off the practice. So we're going to start closing before we go to Shavasana is bring your attention to the breath. So hands come to the knees, shoulders back and down, chin towards your chest. Each inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And bring your attention to your body and see how you're feeling. Bring your attention to maybe the part of your body that you feel maybe we've worked on quite a lot right now in this practice. You might feel it in your hips, especially after all the pigeon poses. Just become aware of all these sensations. One more inhale here. Exhale. Okay, and here we're going to lie back into Shavasana. So final relaxation pose. So hands by your side, shoulders back and down, chin towards your chest. Now we're going to give the body some time to relax. We're going to end this class together, so we're going to stay here for a few breaths, just enough time to let the body relax and let the nervous system also calm down. Gently close your eyes if they're not already closed. You don't need to keep your belly engaged. You can feel your belly button coming up with every inhale and going down with every exhale. Easy breathing. Okay, and from here we're going to wiggle the hands and toes. Bring a little bit of movement back to the body. Inhale, hands come overhead, stretch the body out. And exhale, knees to your chest. Gently roll from side to side, especially if you've got a little bit of tension in your lower back. Spend some time here just to make sure you're feeling all right. And slowly roll onto your side. You try to keep your eyes closed. Take a nice inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale. And exhale. Gently come up. Again, try to keep your eyes closed. Hands in front of heart center, shoulders back and down, chin towards your chest. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, open the eyes. And thank you for joining me for this class. I hope you enjoyed it. And I've got a few more classes like this, so feel free to check them out. And I'll see you in the next class. Bye.